At the age of 17, I told my folks, I am going to serve in the United States Marine Corps. I said, I'm going to make a lot of money. And I'll send it home some to you. Unbeknownst to me, I was making $21. $21 once a month. And I used to send home $10 every month. That's my life. I went to San Diego, California to become a Marine. When I finished boot camp, as they call it, I was shipped to Pearl Harbor in Hawaii. Before that happened, if someone would have said Pearl Harbor, you would not have had the slightest idea where it was. There, I was attached to a ship called the USS Northampton, and with the cruiser and another ship in the USS Enterprise, which was a carrier, we made a trip to Australia, Brisbane, Australia. The other day there were 3 ladies walked into the World War II Museum, and I said, "Where are you ladies from?" They said, "We're from Brisbane, Australia." So I grabbed them and started dancing with them. I said, "I still remember how to dance. In Australia, you dance around and around and around." Stayed in Brisbane 3 days and started back in late November for Pearl Harbor. On the morning of December the 7th, 1941, I was getting ready to go in to Honolulu. What for? I was going swimming at Waikiki Beach. I was going to get a good meal, and then I was going dancing. But none of that happened, because at 5 minutes of 8, coming across the northwest corner of Oahu were 185 Japanese planes. We fought them the best we could for about 45 minutes. And then there was a lull, and I said to myself, it's over. 300 more Japanese planes hit us. When the day was over, we had lost approximately 1,000 service people. The Japanese had 6 aircraft carriers. That's where those planes came from. They had 9 cruisers and 12 destroyers off of the coast of Oahu. When that was over, I thank the Lord for letting me make that day. From there, I was sent to a special school to become a Marine Raider. And with the Raider Battalion, I traveled and made the landing at Guadalcanal. Guadalcanal, a jungle. You had to watch every step you made because there could be somebody in a tree or in the bush. From there, I went to the next island, and it was nothing but a coral reef. When that campaign was over, I thought I was gone home. And they said, no, you're not going home. I went to Iwo Jima. We lost, in your forefathers, 21,000 Marines were killed or wounded. And I was there for about 2 months through a campaign. November the 2nd, 1945 was over. I went a little bit too fast because I want to tell you why I left the ship I was on. It was the USS Northampton. We were battling the Japs at 2 o'clock in the morning in what they call a slot. That's what island of Guadalcanal on one side and the island of Tulagi on the other side. The first ship to go through was the USS Pensacola. It made it. The second ship was the Minneapolis, and it made it. We were the third ship, and we took 3 torpedoes. I want to tell you something. When a torpedo hits a ship, you go flying in the air. And when you land on that steel deck. The captain of the ship was named Kit. If you go up to Baton Rouge right now, at the waterfront dock, there's a destroyer named USS Kit, named after the captain of the ship. I went up on a bridge and I said, Captain, are you going to be able to save the ship? He said, no, Bert, I can't save the ship. I said, well, in that case, I am staying on this ship till we get everybody off, and I'm leaving this ship with you. When all of that was accomplished, the ship was like this. The captain and I walked off the ship together, 2 o'clock in the morning, into that water. We started, I could feel the suction of the ship going down, so I looked at the captain. I said, Captain, start swimming because the suction is going to pull both of us down. Well, I'm a boy from New Orleans that used to swim in the Mississippi River. Coming from poor folks, that's where you went swimming in New Orleans, at Napoleon and the Mississippi River. So I started swimming, and I kept swimming, and then I looked around, and he wasn't there. Guadalcanal Tulagi, Iwo Jima are all right near the equator. The most shark-infested waters in the world. So here I am by myself, and I said, well, how will you make it? But I also said, I ain't giving up. Whenever I have a group of girls, they always say, well, what did you do, Mr. Bert, to keep yourself going? I said, I reminisced about my life in New Orleans. I thought a lot about the girls I would like to date if I get back. And I said, somehow, maybe the good Lord will let me live. I was in the water for 3 days and 3 nights by myself. What did I do? I sang. I used to sing every song that I knew over and over again to entertain myself. One of those songs went like this: smile though your heart is aching. Smile even though it's breaking. If there are clouds in the sky, God let a mermaid come by. And then the tide, one night, took me into the slot. Guadalcanal on this side, Tulagi on that side. The Japs took Tulagi. The Marines were fighting the Japs on Guadalcanal. I couldn't go much longer. And sure enough, there in the darkness, I could see the outline of what looked like a ship. So that you men will understand something, if you were in Europe and you became a prisoner of war, you had 80% chance of living. If you were in the Pacific area and you became a prisoner, you had 12% chance of living. I didn't know what kind of ship it was, but I couldn't go on any longer, so I swam over to the ship. And when I swam around to the rear of the ship, that was the most beautiful thing I ever saw in my life. The American flag. It was the United States destroyer. So I yelled up, I said, hey, how about you sailors giving a Marine a hand? So about 4 or 5 sailors dove in the water and held me up on the ship. From there, I went home a bit, got married, went back overseas. On November the 2nd, 1945, because of something I did on Iwo Jima, I was given the right to go aboard the USS Missouri and watch them sign a peace treaty. I was standing next to a soldier, looked at me and he said, "You're a Marine." I said, "Yes, and you're General Douglas MacArthur." And that's who he was, General Douglas MacArthur of the United States Army. He said, "You know something? I need a man to do me a favor. Can I call," I was a warrant officer, "can I call your general and ask him if I can have permission to use you?" I said, "You have that right, sir." So we got that permission. He said, "Now, you go to the airfield, they're going to take you to Tokyo. You are gone to the United States Army headquarters." When I reported in there, they knew right away who I was, because Marines don't go to the Army headquarters. I said, "Okay, now that I'm here, what am I going to do for you all?" They said, "You see those 4 generals standing over there, those Army generals? You and those Army generals are going to Nagasaki and Hiroshima. It had been only 10 days since the atomic bomb. We were closed completely, and we went to those 2 Japanese cities where the atomic bombs were dropped. There wasn't a person alive. There wasn't a building standing. Every building was nothing but cement, rubber. And it was unbelievable. You could hear a pin drop. Then we went to Hiroshima, and the same thing. God never, please, let an atomic bomb fall on any nation again. I got back to headquarters. I said, "I did my job." "Oh, wait a minute. You can't go home." I said, "Why not?" "We're flying you to Guam." I said, "I've been on Guam many times. I was in the campaign for Guam." They said, "No, you're going to pick up 2 Japanese prisoners." I said, "No, let's hold up here. The war's over. There's no such thing as Japanese prisoners now." They said, "These 2 are Japanese prisoners. You are going to bring them back here to Tokyo to stand trial." I said, "Why?" They said, "Because they were cannibals." And I said, I gotta be the one to go with that. So I took them aboard a ship that was in the Guam harbor, and I put them in the cell, and I slept right at that door until we got to Tokyo. Why? Because if you're a Marine and you lose a prisoner, you're going to take his place. I said, "Okay. I did my job. I brought these 2 prisoners back to you. I'm going home." "No, you're not going home." I said, "Hold up. What do you mean? I've been through the whole campaign. I want to go home. I got a little 5-year-old boy at home that I haven't even seen." He said, "Well, sorry." I said, "What am I doing now?" we're flying you to Tsingtao, China. Tsingtao, China? I never heard of Tsingtao, China. It's on the border of Manchuria. And you report to a Chinese general and tell him how you Marine Raiders operate. I said, well, who is this Chinese general? His name was General Chiang Kai-shek. Have any of y'all ever heard of him? He was head of the Communist Chinese nation. And I was with him for 3 weeks, and then I came home. It was great to be home. It's great to be alive and see all you young people. In conclusion, I want to tell you young people something. They call us the greatest generation this nation has ever had. That's not true. We had a job to do, and we did it. I stand here looking at the great generation for this country. Don't let us down. We love you all. God bless you. Question? If you've got a question, I can answer you. But I just want to tell you one more thing. There's a fellow from the United States Air Force that comes and speaks with me sometimes. And everywhere he goes, they ask him the same question. Were you in Paris? And I said, why? Well, that's where the women are, is in Paris. And that's his answer, and he is right. I had that chance of going to Paris. And it's a beautiful place. I want to thank you all for inviting me. I want to thank Mr. Stan Wright and his family for seeing that I arrived here safely. Take me home.
Safely.
I came back to New Orleans and I raised 3 boys. And thank God we all live here. And thank God they all went to college like you're doing. Don't let this school down. No. Yeah. You got some questions?
Did anybody have any questions?
Well, I need somebody to tell me what the question is.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, let's see. Does anybody have a question? Did he just tell you everything? I mean, fill your heads. Can you imagine?
I can tell you something I didn't tell you. I'm 95 years old. And this morning, while you all were sleeping, I was running. I started that when I went in the ice cream business because I wasn't going to let that happen to me. So I started getting up every morning at 6 o'clock. I live right by the levee. And I go up on the levee and I run with my dog. You've got to exercise. And don't forget, you all are the people this country is looking forward to. Don't let us down. It's the greatest country in the world. God bless you. God keep you. Every morning I get up at the same time right now, 6 o'clock. And there's a window right by my bed. And I'll turn my face to that window and I'll say, Lord, thank you for bringing me through the wall. And Lord, thank you for letting me wake up this morning. If you have a question, I'd be glad to answer. You all have a good day, and thank you all for coming.